Hey everybody, Rockin Rich Lynch, the Rich Lynch Band, the Rockin Rich Lynch Webcast. Hope you all are doing nice today. Little technical difficulties. Okay, the delay is gone. I'm Rockin Rich Lynch. Got another webcast for you today, our weekly webcast, the Rockin Rich Lynch Webcast. A couple of websites for you to think about going over to check out. My band page right there, richlynchband.com. And I'll have a couple of more for you. Got a guest coming up in a few minutes today. Be excited to tell you about that. What I need to do over here is just pull up the webcast to make sure it's happening. So bear with me, I'll be right back. Excellent, I can verify that everything is up and running. Looks pretty good today. A lot of light in the room. Coming out of Nashville, Tennessee, it's been a rainy couple of weeks in Tennessee. Some floods over there in the eastern part of the state, Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. We've been lucky so far, but the ground is wet. It's been overcast. The pikes kind of flood a little bit easy. Probably has to do with the fact that they're just building so much that there's no more land left to absorb all the rain. But anyway, that's the website right there. Rockin Rich Lynch Webcast, richlynchband.com. I have a couple other websites for you if you're a band or artist out there and you would like some music promotion. I can do that for you via a couple of websites. One is called soundpress.net. Another is called musiccitynashville.net. I got some signage for you. I think I'm going to leave the webcast sign up for as long as I can today. There's one, soundpress.net, soundpress.net, soundpress.net. And musiccitynashville.net, musiccitynashville.net, musiccitynashville.net. For both of these sites, if you go over to the music promo button at the top of the navigational field, you'll see how I can help you out. Basically, it's you send us a song, you send us some information about your band, and then we're able to do a promotional exchange with you via our websites, via our social media platform. I can even give you a shout out from this webcast right here. We're having a lot of fun with it. It's growing from the ground up, just like this show is, as I had said last week to people. This show is grown out of a podcast that I did for about 20 years out of my home in Ringwood, New Jersey. And that podcast allowed me to speak to so many of my heroes. Some of my most favorite interviews of all time were with Greg Kinn and a guy named Michael Stanley, who's in the Michael Stanley Band. Those were two of my favorites, but some of the impressive ones that I did were Randy Bachman, Todd Rundgren, Yoko Ono, Meatloaf. Just the list went on and on. And I haven't really done that so much in a capacity that I've been able to do it on a regular basis. And this is the third show in a row that we've done weekly every Wednesday out of Nashville, Tennessee. And we're just kind of getting into the habit and the format right now, rebooking some of the bigger guests that I've had on in the past, getting them back on the show. We want to grow it from here and then get into a really nice studio environment where the bells and whistles can be accentuated. We can get some production help. We can have more interaction with the fans. It's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of fun. What I'm going to do right now is play a song for you, I think. But first I want to tell you, in addition to those two websites, there's richlynchband.com. And we have another website. It's called Global Gridiron. Now, what Global Gridiron is, it's an American football production company based out of the American South. And the work product that we have right now is an online fashion show where I wear the colors and the logos of teams that play football. Now, they can play it in the United States, they can play it around the world. The thing is, with American football, I've contended for the longest time that it's the last years all that has changed. Football is played in major leagues in many of the countries in Europe, in Eastern Europe, Australia. South America is coming on strong. So it's exciting times. And I do believe that in the future, the leagues that we develop here in the United States will be able to reach out to a greater player pool. The NFL is already doing that a little bit. Sorry, but see, this is a real live show, and you'll hear my voice go into somewhere in the twilight zone. I need an assistant to get me a bottle of water. So in addition to all the other sites, globalgridiron.com is another website where we host this webcast, and we're really excited that in the last week, the XFL launched 19 years after folding, after their first season. Vince McMahon of the wrestling fame decided that he wanted to restart his league, and he took 2 years to do it, to make it come back, and he kind of stepped away and brought in real good football people, and it's kind of amazing. I posted an article on Global Gridiron today where it really says that right now they have so many advantages via social media and video platforms where fans create videos to put highlight packages together. And I highlighted 4 of these videos where they're already over 300,000 to 500,000 views a few days away from the inaugural weekend. And what's amazing about that is I was a huge fan of the USFL in the 80s, and they survived, they did okay, but they didn't have that constant conversation happening that social media, Facebook groups, and these YouTube videos allow to happen. So it's really exciting. It's an exciting time to be in American football. Now, this team here is the Nashville Knights. They played in the lingerie division of the arena version of the game. And I don't know if they're playing this year, but I picked up this shirt at my first lingerie style football game that I ever went to. And it was, the ladies were quality athletes, I'll put it to you like that. But I came away from that game thinking the appeal was less family friendly and more being viewed by lecherous style of people, like people who just wanted to see a equipment malfunction with the ladies. And I felt like the ladies were being a tad exploited. And I came away not really liking the experience now. And that's completely different than I thought I was going to view the game going into it. Like I said, I enjoyed it. But having been to the NFL draft earlier in the year and seeing the professionalism that reams and reams of money bring to the game and put on the table, and then seeing this game at the Nashville Municipal Auditorium that was sparsely attended, there was a contrast there. So what I do on this show is I play some songs of my own. We have a guest coming up in a few minutes. His name is Kiefer Wiley, and we'll tell you all about Kiefer as soon as we get him on the air. That's always a question mark here with this new format. Everything is live, everything is in real time. There's no opportunity to edit out errors or mistakes. So I've told you a lot already. I've told you about the websites. I told you about soundpress.net, musiccitynashville.net, richlynchband.com, globalgridiron.com. All these sites host a version of this show. I have a pick right here. Now, this is the song I've been playing a lot lately. It's called Just Waiting for You. And then at the end of the show, I'm going to use this platform as a vehicle to put out some of my older songs that haven't actually been officially recorded quite yet. So this is called Just Waiting for You. I'm going to dial this up, and then I'll dial up Kiefer Wiley on the phone. Be coming real soon. Another night by the light of the moon. I'll sit back and I'll write a new tune and I'll wait What's a lonely old boy to do except wait and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait. Just wait for you. Just wait for you. All my life been waiting on a friend for it to start and inevitably end. I'll lick my wounds and then I'll go on the mend, and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait. Yeah, it's true, I'm waiting for the sun, and I'll do my best in this race I run. When doors are closed, I'll keep knocking upon, and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait. Just wait for you. Just wait for you. Yeah, I've been waiting for a girl like you. I prayed and prayed and you proved so true. When you're not here, I turn to midnight blue, and I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait. They say the waiting is the hardest part. When you left, you went and broke my heart. I'll get on my knees and beg and make a new start, and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait. Just wait for you. Just wait for you. Just wait for you. Just wait for you. They said that Jesus might be coming real soon. Another night by the light of the moon. I'll sit back and I'll write a new tune, and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait. No, and I'll just wait for you. You said by noon, now it's 1:45. What's a lonely old boy to do except wait and I'll wait and I'll wait and I'll wait. Just wait for you. Just wait for you. For you. Oh man, I would have given myself an 8 out of 10, but I stumbled at the end there, so I'm going to give myself a 7 out of 10 on that version. Not bad. And Neil Young once said, let me turn off the reverb. Neil Young once said about his band that they were good from far and far from good. And I kind of feel that way sometimes about my music. I'm going to pick up the phone over here. And in about 2 minutes' time, I will be dialing up Kiefer Wiley. Hopefully we can get him on the phone because there's no backup plan. I have a list of notes as it pertains to Kiefer. Hey, Walter Stubbs, maybe tuning in. Give me a little thumbs up, Walter, if you're still there. That's nice to know you checked in for a minute. Thanks for the tickets, by the way. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun a couple of weeks back. So I'm getting close to needing to dial up Mr. Kiefer Wiley. A couple minutes. So as mentioned, I, along with my wife, run a couple of music promotion websites. One out of Nashville called musiccitynashville.net, and another called soundpress.net, which is more of a national, international version of the same. And that has an archive that goes back 20 years, and we're actually expanding and bringing back the archive and kind of freshening everything up and making it as new as possible. In Nashville this week, we did a couple of things, and perhaps if I have some time on the other side of this, I'll mention it again. But if you go to musiccitynashville.net, we got to see a Cirque du Soleil presentation of a show called Axel, one of their new presentations that's touring throughout America for much of 2020. So if you go to their website and check it out, you'll find some dates. But it was what they do and then added with the element of ice skating. So we found it to be very enjoyable, very entertaining, certainly death-defying in a couple of moments. So that was good. And then we've been incredibly busy. What we've done this week, and we'll have some articles on the website next week, is we had the privilege and honor of going to All for the Hall, which is a show Keith Urban puts on for the Country Music Hall of Fame. And he had guests there like Chris Stapleton and Blake Shelton and Tanya Tucker, amongst many, many others. And we're going to have a full report of that going online. And then just last night, we got to see, for the second time in 8 years exactly to the day that we saw the Blue Man Group the last time, we got to see them at the Tennessee Performing Arts Center. And another fun show. Just those guys are something to see, I'll put it to you that way. So what I'm going to do right now is dial one Mr. Kiefer Wiley, see if I can get him on the line. RichLynchBand.com, MusicCityNashville.net, SoundPress.net, our websites. I think we got him. Hey, Kiefer Wiley. Good. I need to put you on speakerphone, and then, like I said, it might not be the strongest or best connection you've ever experienced, but I think it works. It's worked. We're 3 for 3 so far. Yeah. Okay. Volume is all the way up. Kiefer, can you hear me?
I can indeed. Can you hear me?
I can, and so can the worldwide audience who will be tuning into this over time. They're not all here right now, but once we put it up on YouTube, the audience will accrue.
All right. Well, hello, world.
Hey, Kiefer Wiley is the man on the phone right now. The website is KieferWiley.com. I'm going to spell that for you. That's K-E-I-F as in Frank, E-R-W-I-L-E-Y.com. Did I get that correct, Kiefer?
You did indeed, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So Kiefer is an amazing singer-songwriter musician that I've had the pleasure to get to know recently in the last couple of months. Hailing from Cleveland, Ohio originally. Now, Kiefer, what I know about Cleveland is a couple of things. One is Cleveland rocks. I know that, and I know they have I know they have the Hall of Fame.
We do. We have the Hall of Fame.
How is Cleveland as a musical city, and then how does it rate to Nashville, Tennessee, where you are now, what is known as Music City?
Yeah, well, Cleveland is a very different scene than Nashville. I would say there's a lot of opportunity for people, especially on the west side of Cleveland, who are into very heavy genres of music, to like death metal. There's a lot of opportunity for that. Back in high school, I used to play in a band that would kind of open up for these metal shows, which was kind of funny because we were like an acoustic trio. But I'll say that the heavy fans in Cleveland are definitely very supportive and welcoming of us, even though we were a little different than everything else that was going on in town.
So big death metal scene in Cleveland, founded by all the people who are perhaps unhappy to be still stuck in Cleveland?
Perhaps, yeah. Well, we have a lot to be screaming about with the weather and the sports, so.
True, except LeBron gave you a champion, a long overdue one.
Yeah, that was an interesting experience for Cleveland sports fans. We had to go from burning his jerseys back to being happy for him.
Now, Kiefer, before you wound up in Nashville, you made a life decision, or I guess you embraced an opportunity to spend a considerable amount of time as a working musician on a cruise liner. Can you tell me a little bit about how that all came to be?
Yeah, well, I was getting to the end of my time in college, and I really wanted to be working full-time. I didn't really have a lot of connections for performing outside of my college town, so I was looking to get out of that. And I had a friend who had done a little bit of cruise work with a different line, so I knew that it was a possibility. So I contacted a bunch of agencies, sent them my demo reels, heard back from a few, and eventually I got an offer to work with Norwegian Cruise Lines, and I stayed with them for a little over 2 years.
Now, did that live up to the adventure that it sounds like it must have been?
Yeah, I mean, that and more. It was definitely a huge adventure, and I've seen so many countries that I couldn't have even pointed to on a map before I went out to sea, and done a lot of things that, like, most people probably haven't done. Like, I've sailed across the Atlantic Ocean. Most people would take a plane.
Right. Did you have any fear of the water prior to this, or was that just something you just, dove right into? Kiefer? Hold on, we lost him. This is a first. Hold on. All right, we're trying to redial.
Please leave your message for...
Hello again. Sorry, I lost you there.
Yeah, that's a first. Coming. That's a first, but see, we're resilient here. It's the idea is to never give up, just keep on going, kind of like any good musician has to do. And we are talking with Kiefer Wiley. It gives me an opportunity to give another introduction out. KieferWiley.com is the website. I love this guy. I mean, there's certain people in the course of my time and many years of doing this that I run into that I become an instant fan of, and you are one of those people, Kiefer. I told you that personally, and I still mean it.
Oh, thank you, Rich. I really appreciate it.
Now, did you have any fear of the water at all before getting on a giant boat like that and sailing on top of the Atlantic Ocean?
Thankfully, no. I was a little bit worried. I generally don't get motion sick, so I wasn't super concerned. But I was a little bit interested, I could say, in how it was going to feel being on a ship for 6 months at a time. But I will say that even though I was on some of the smaller ships in the fleet, those cruise lines are so gigantic that you hardly notice, except for in very certain places in the world. A lot of the places where ships go, like the Bahamas and the Mediterranean Sea, the ocean is so calm there comparatively to how big the ships are. It's almost like it's a floating hotel. You don't even notice it half the time.
Did you have an opportunity by yourself or with that giant band you were with to ever play "My Heart Will Go On" for your audience?
No, that one we usually left to the divas, but that was a bit of a running gag with cruise directors and such. Sometimes guests would request it unironically, but usually it was kind of a joke.
Yeah, that would terrify me. I'd be crying if I heard that. So let me back up. Kiefer Wiley again. We're talking to you now. I did mention I did see some video clips of you on the ship with a giant band, and it looked kind of like what Springsteen put together, like a giant big band, an E Street Band style thing, or Billy Joel is known to have multiple players on stage. Did you play any part in the curation of that band, or was that just pretty much made for you, ready to go, plug and play?
So that was actually a couple different iterations of the Norwegian orchestra. So I did not put that band together, but I was really fortunate to work with them. Basically, they were hired by the company to be orchestra players. So they are crack sight readers. I brought them the charts for that show was completely written out in standard music notation, and they got it about an hour before we played it, and they sight read it. And they're just amazing musicians, and they do this every single day. We have different guest entertainers come on board, and they get about 45 minutes to rehearse, and then they're performing in front of hundreds of guests. So that's what they do.
That's amazing. That was warming you up for the type of musicianship that you would find here in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, one more thing about that band. Did the experience of fronting something like that, because, you know, that had to be great to be there, to know what you're doing and what they're doing at the same time. Does that whet your appetite to put together another project like that, of that size, somewhere down the road?
Oh, absolutely. It was very inspiring, and also, especially at first, very intimidating, because when you're playing as a solo musician, you can kind of push through. If you make an arrangement mistake, if you flip a verse, or if maybe you all need to be really on top of your craft, really. And those musicians, like I said, were just so amazing at what they did. Like, it humbled me and made me even more appreciative and working towards making sure I was worthy of that level of musicianship.
Excellent, Kiefer. Well, you certainly are, and you look like you're having the time of your life, so that is good to know. Now, you're relatively new to the Nashville scene, haven't been here that long, but enough to kind of really get off and running to a nice start. It looks like you've been playing a lot of dates, looks like you have a lot of dates on the calendar. I'm going to ask you something about that, but have you picked up on any of that intangible Nashville magic that so many people claim is here in this region?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's amazing about Nashville is that there's so many different places to play, and like right now I'm definitely still paying my dues. I spend most of my nights at unscheduled rounds and open mic nights and just filling in where I can. And even if you go to like a small dive bar on the outskirts of East Nashville on a Monday night for an open mic that just started a couple weeks ago, it'll be a full roster of like incredibly talented young artists, and also artists that have been playing for years and years. And I think one of the coolest things about that, just the range of experience that you see, is that like one of my first nights here, I went to a round at the Commodore Grill, and there were songwriters up there who had were telling personal stories of their time with like Hank Williams.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing the amount of history and just legacy that a lot of these more experienced artists have, and how they're so open and willing to share their experiences with the younger generation.
Hey, you brought up a past great, and my wife and I really enjoyed the Ken Burns Country Music Special that had happened here. And last week we went over to Woodlawn Cemetery on Nolensville Pike, just over. I don't want to say it wrong, but it's over in the section. It's over by 100 Oaks, and it was sort of an eye-opening, sobering visit to a place where a lot of greats have found their final resting place. So if you ever got a nice day and you're just looking for a nice stroll, they'll give you a map and they'll tell you where all the stars are. George Jones is over there. One of the guys that I was happy to see was a guy named Dobie Gray, who did a great song called Drift Away, which I don't know if you're familiar with, but really good. It's a great rock and roll classic.
Yeah, I played that song almost every day when I was on the Norwegian Star.
Excellent. Yeah, Dobie's over there. Go say hello, and you can thank him for that. But Kiefer Wiley's on the phone with us right now. KieferWiley.com is his website. So basically, it's like two sides of the same coin for you. It's like you have the experience as a professional musician, sailing around the world, playing acoustically, but then playing with this giant band. And now it's like your next year. It's like the next level of coursework for you is grinding it out in this competitive market where the dreams are palpable in this town, and everybody's kind of reaching for the same thing in a lot of ways. I definitely think you have an advantage over many of them, but it is daunting being here. But so how does this experience differ than from what you did as a professional musician on that big boat?
I'd say one of the biggest things is just when I was on the ship, I was contracted to play like 4 to 6 hours a night, 6 days a week. So I never had to worry about when my next gig was and how I was going to get it. So it's been a big adjustment, the hustle. And like I said, it was one of the great things about Nashville is how many talented people are here, but it's also a double-edged sword. Like, there's a lot of competition and long waiting lists to get onto some of these rounds. And so that's one big thing. And also just keeping my stamina up. Is you don't get to play for, there's not a lot of people doing 2-hour, 3-hour shows in Nashville. There's just so many, at least of original music. When you go down on Broadway, that's when you can get into that, more of those grind shows. But just keeping up with the endurance, and when I'm only playing a couple songs around sometimes.
Is that something, I mean, your experience would kind of translate nicely to that. Is that something you'd be willing to do for a year or so, is put a band together up on Broadway and deal with those crazy crowds?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. If anyone who's listening is looking for a singer on in the Broadway bars, hit me up.
Yep, Kiefer Wiley, hit him up. Now, we are coming to the end here, Kiefer, a little bit. 2017 saw a release of Forward and Back, a full-length album of yours. Where does that stand within your discography? Was that your debut?
No, that's my most recent album, but I also had an EP that came out before that, which I was really proud of. We recorded it live at the Harkness Chapel Memorial Church in Cleveland, Ohio, up there as well. It came out in 2013. I was a senior in high school, so it's definitely a little less mature, but I like to think of it as a snapshot, and it kind of represents where I started. And Forwards and Back represents where I was before I started touring with Norwegian. And my next EP, which should hopefully be coming out this year, we don't have a solid date for it yet, but the songs are written, is going to represent who I am now.
Yeah, albums are snapshots in the truest sense of the word, so that's awesome to hear. Have you gotten into a studio yet or found a producer, or is that still something you're working on?
I'm still very much in the demo phase right now. I trained as an audio engineer, so I like to do the first run of all of my work myself to work the kinks out. So when I get into the studio and the clock is running, I'm prepared.
Excellent, Kiefer. Thanks for being prepared today. Thanks for being another victim here in Stone Age Studios. We're kind of we've turned the clock way back in order to kind of bring this show back. It's been an honor to talk to you, and I know you're going to do well, and keep up the great work, and spread the word about this program when you can, when I send you the link, if you will.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me on, Rich. This was a great experience.
Excellent, Kiefer. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right. As mentioned, another victim in the Stone Age Studios. So that's it for me. I think we talked about a lot of things today. I told you what was going on the websites. We'll have more information next week. Something that I want to start doing is I want to do this, and I'm going to do this, is I'm going to pull some of the best of clips from previous programming and air some of the audio on this program. And I think, well, I'm not going to say who we're going to have up first, but just going to be brief clips so you, as the listening audience in the world, can actually hear some of my history with some of the most amazing artists, my heroes growing up as a teenager, listening and watching MTV and the radio and buying records. I got to speak to so many of these people, and we're going to start putting that out there into the world. We might have Richie Kotzen, the great Richie Kotzen of the Winery Dogs, on this show very soon. He might be up. Richie just put out an album for his 50th birthday called 50 for 50. He said he fell asleep listening to the first 27 tracks, not because the music's boring, just because the volume is so huge. So we're working our way through all 50 right now, getting some questions together for him. And just watch the website, if you will. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube if you can. That'll let you know when new shows are up and running. And I'm going to leave you with the song called Horizon Mine. As I mentioned, this show is also a vehicle for my music, and it's a vehicle for songs I have recorded, and songs that have just not had some studio treatment yet. So this is a song, this is one of my earlier songs. It's one I like a lot. Just let me find it here. RichLynchBand.com, Soundpress.net, MusicCityNashville.net, GlobalGridiron.com. Those are the websites. Please go up there if you're a band or artist and you want some promotion. I can help you with Soundpress.net and MusicCityNashville.net. Very affordable, very accessible rate for you to get your word out about yourself. So please contact me. I'd love to hear from you. We're doing a lot of reviews. We're doing a lot of writing. It's all coming. And this show takes place weekly. Rise in mind, there's a treasure out there. Rise in mind, there's a treasure out there. I'm gonna do what I can to make it shine. There's a treasure out there. Rise in mind. If you're digging for gold, but you're getting too old, then I guess I should tell you all that I've been told. But not from them stories in all the books you've been sold. Because the power and glory, He created the mold. Rise in mind, there's a treasure out there. Make it shine. Yeah, there's a treasure. I don't know where the problem's coming from.